I'm Michelle Reid, for those of you who don't know me. I am a painter and artist here in Kingston, and I am coming to you live from inside my art studio at the Tet Center. We are not open to the public right now, of course. We're non-essential, but the tenants like myself and Lisa across the way, we're allowed to come in and just sort of stay in our happy place and try to zen out a bit and get through all of this. Aw, thanks, Cindy. But if any of you have ever heard me talk to tourists, whether it be on the street or when I was working at Chien Noir as a server, I'm sure you're rolling your eyes right now because you know how excited I am to be involved in things that are related to tourism, and especially Kingston, which I love so much. So yeah, especially my coworkers at Chien Noir. Like, if I was ever talking to tourists too long about trying to help them enjoy our beautiful city as much as they could with the time that they had, they were probably like either running my food for me or closing out bills while I was taking far too long talking to our tourists and trying to help them enjoy Kingston, because it really is a gem. And I'm kind of go the long way around explaining to you how I came to feel this way and why it's one of my favorite places to be and favorite places to paint. Hi, everybody. So I am a Kingston local. My family moved me here when I was too young to remember living anywhere else. So Kingston is my hometown. I went to school here, Monseigneur Migolin, when I was in elementary school, Regiopolis, Notre Dame, and then St. Lawrence College. A couple of times, actually. No, I did not graduate. Thanks for asking. But because I lived in Kingston my whole life, you can imagine that as a young person, my opinion of our city was probably like, you know, it's boring, it's like gray. We are pretty gray at times, aren't we? But if you can shift your focus, you can really start to see the color that is here and the light and the energy and how vibrant our, art scene is, for example. But it didn't come easily to me. I was definitely a late bloomer on the Yay Kingston front. What changed for me and why I'm so jazzed about being a part of Visit Kingston in different ways, like the cover of the tourism guide that I was showing you in the beginning there. This just tickled me every single shade of pink to be a part of that. Because, like I was saying, this is the long way around, but they did tell me early to not hold on to my phone, to put it somewhere stable, but artists break the rules all the time. So my love for Kingston developed when I started traveling elsewhere. So one of my first trips was from Kingston on a train all the way to Halifax and then back. I've done that several times. I've gone out to British Columbia and, flew to Calgary, drove through the mountains all the way to Vancouver Island and out to Tofino. That was a great trip with 6 of my friends and 4 cars. So we had a little traveling caravan, and this was before cell phones. So we thought we were cool with walkie-talkies, and that was a great adventure. But as far as, the risk factor of that, it was pretty safe. I'm in my homeland. I'm in my homeland. I speak the languages. I know the currency. The healthcare system is on my side here. And overall, it was a pretty safe but eye-opening experience. What it did was really get me excited about seeing what else the world had to offer. And I think that if any of us, who have traveled and we're sitting here thinking, when's the next chance I'm going to get to do that again, you realize how really special it is. But I have good news. This isn't dark. So that just fueled my fire for traveling. And I am an adult with no children, so I have the luxury of, allocating some of my funds to that. So my next big trip was to Turkey. I went to Istanbul. And for a little girl from Kingston, Istanbul is about as exotic as it gets. I land there and the architecture is completely different. I don't speak the language. I'm not familiar with the currency. I am really bad at math, so just not knowing the denominations was, an extra layer of, oh my God, what have I done? And, it's not, it doesn't have the reputation for being the safest place in the world. So I find myself in the square, and on the first day, there's people trying to get me to go and buy a rug. And I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah. Turkish rugs, that's the thing to do, right? We're in Turkey, let's get a Turkish rug. So we get ushered away from the square, and they start bringing us down a little alleyway, and it's getting a little sketchy. I'm an adult at this point, yeah. This was 8 years ago, maybe. So they're ushering us down this street and now down an alleyway, and the alleyway is getting sketchier and sketchier and sketchier, and we find ourselves in this little rug shop. And it really snuck up on us, the risky undertaking that this was, but they were being so polite and offering us tea. But now we're sitting there in this situation, like, where are we? I don't really want a rug anymore. I just want to get out of here safe and sound. And we did, without a rug. But what happened was this hairy tale became one of our favorite stories to tell and recount. And the more I traveled, the more I noticed that those were kind of my favorite parts. It was this sense of adventure. Hi, everybody who's signing in. Thanks for joining. I'm just telling stories here, having a coffee. It's mostly coffee. So the more I traveled, the more I wanted to travel. I couldn't get enough stamps in my passport. So every chance I got, that's what I would do. I was lucky to go to Italy, France, Belize, Guatemala, Mexico, California, New York City, Las Vegas. And it was a recurring pattern. All of my favorite parts were the elements of risk, where, maybe I'm canoeing down the Belize River and the howler monkeys are screaming at us and the lizards are falling from the trees. And it really got me outside of my own little bubble and showed me, a world that was far less, safe, and really, I was really taken care of my whole childhood in Kingston. So this was weird, risky undertakings. There was elements of physical danger and heightened psychological awareness. And all of those things, they definitely change a person, right? But it wasn't changing me in the way that I had hoped. I was hoping that I would land in these exotic places, and then I would kind of feel like a better version of myself. I've always, and those who know me, that I'm always chasing, something, whether it be a better version of myself or if I'm chasing the light in my artwork. But I was finding that I was going great distances to try to find a greater goal, to find like that inner knowledge that only comes from travel. So I'm in new places. Now I'm in Cuba, and I'm still the same old Michelle. And this is, I'm not understanding. Like, I'm chasing this thing. Where can I find it? So, now I'm in Cuba, just same old me, and I'm noticing the locals and how passionate they are, and their lust for life. And I'm so confused because they have none of the things that I have. I have a good life in Canada, in Kingston. I have nice gear. I've got cameras, down there as a tourist on vacation. I've spent a lot to be there, but I'm not enjoying myself as much as they are. And then I realized how very, very, very jealous I was of them. And it wasn't because of their status or what they had. It was their outlook. It was their lust for life. Hi, Rhonda. You may remember Rhonda. She was on yesterday. She's my neighbor here at the TED as well. So the biggest thing I took back from that particular trip was that I wasn't searching for a better version of myself in the way I thought. It was a better quality of life, actually, and a better outlook on life. So I come back to Kingston. Now I'm looking at my city through the eyes of a traveler. And I'm seeing it for how actually very beautiful it is. It's not gray at all. It's so colorful. The people, the talented people that we have here, it's such a vibrant city as far as creativity. We're very, very fortunate, but sometimes it just takes, an interrupting moment to realize. Hi guys, thanks for the love. And thanks Visit Kingston for allowing me a reason to do my hair and put on my jeans and some constricting garments. Put on a little makeup. I feel like a real girl again. Hi Jason. Oh, hi Billy. Sending my love to you today. Okay, so I'm back in Kingston. I'm looking at my town with the eyes of a tourist. I'm starting to notice the tourism signs that guide people to the different things and what we're trying to promote. All this stuff I thought was boring as a kid, right? Growing up here. So I get a little curious. Oh, maybe I can have a good time in my own town, just like I've been adventuring all over the place, right? Adventuring, looking for new things to do. So I did. I took my friend for her birthday on the tour trolley. We had a nice time. I took a helicopter ride in the Thousand Islands. I went to Ahoy Rentals, got a kayak, and just paddled around the basin. There are so many fun things to do in Kingston if you step outside of your comfort circle, right? Comfort circle is part of the theme here, so take note of that. So the last few years I've been really trying to, go to the Agnes Etherington Art Gallery. It's free, guys. You can go and check it out. Come to the TED, wander around to see who you're going to meet. Start to turn over the rocks that make up this gray little city, and you'll see all the color that's revealed. So, yay Kingston. Yay us. We're awesome. You guys, we're doing good. Thanks for hanging in there. I was falling asleep last night kind of fretting about having to do this. And then I had one of those great falling asleep ideas where you have to wake up and write it down. So I did, thank goodness, because the thing that I realized is that, maybe the sense of adventure that we all have is kind of put on the back burner right now. But what is adventure really? It's risky undertakings, it's physical danger, it's that psychological hyper-awareness. It's the quest to find an inner knowledge that only comes from a quest. So if you think about the situation that we're in right now, we are, in a sense, on this really weird adventure. I have a heightened sense of personal awareness, touching my face, touching things, doorknobs, even just coming into the TET, how many things do I have to touch to get to my safe place? So there's this physical danger aspect of what we're dealing with right now. It's really outside of our comfort zones. The sanctuary of a cup of coffee and our beds are so important to us now because we don't really trust everything else. And just going to the grocery store, it's as risky as it gets right now. So if you kind of shift your focus and realize that we're in this moment right now where you have the opportunity to sort of break open your usual patterns, your usual quality of life, and you can almost, I know some of you can't, some of us can, put a lot of that on hold and allow yourself to explore something different, because these are very exotic times. Like, I've never dealt with anything like this. I don't think a lot of us have. So while we're in this state of hyper awareness, why not take note of the things that, yes, you're scared of? But with travel and adventure, there's similarities, like the financial impact this is going to have on us, and not knowing where we're going to be and if we're safe or not. But if you focus on, the flow state that you can actually achieve when you're on an adventure, and not just the fear factor, I think that you can learn a lot. That idea that nothing good ever came from a comfort zone. So if this is a moment to put a lot of things on pause and restructure what's important to you, like when I'm on vacation, I need to sleep well and I need a good cup of coffee in the morning, and all of a sudden those are essentials. When I'm on vacation, I'm eating weird foods that I wouldn't normally. Let me tell you, there are things in the back of my cupboards that are weirder than some of the foods I've eaten on vacation. So that element is happening to me right now as well. And I really hope I can inspire you guys to shift your focus on this. Yes, it's an inconvenience, but it's also an opportunity. I know it's hard to do. And I have my moments. I've cried. I've been mad. I've hit when I had to do groceries for someone who was coming back from the States. I was terrified all day. It took everything out of me. But if you can try to notice that you're focusing on the fear, put that aside and focus on the flow part of creativity and adventure instead, you're at least going to have a moment of sanctuary. And maybe it's a practice like meditation or running or playing an instrument that you can build into your life now. And it's better than, your comfy blanket when you were a baby for self-soothing. So my practice or my flow state comes from painting. Sometimes it doesn't happen easily, but it is a practice, and practice makes progress. Practice does not make perfect, it makes progress. So don't be afraid to try something new in these times and break your usual world open. Learn to play the guitar finally, or I've put some painting videos up and you can follow along. I try to break it down for everybody, materials lists to why I do the things I do, but maybe when we come out of this, you're going to be after my job because you're a better painter than I am. I'm trying to read some of the comments. Has anybody picked up on my choice of outfit today yet? Well, would you guys like a tour around my studio? I'll stop talking nonsense now. Okay, let me flick this around for you. So, you saw my coffee maker, you saw Lisa over there. I can normally hear a little snip, snip, snip of the woodcutters coming from over there. Here I have a couch in my studio because I do a lot of sitting back from my work and analyzing it. Because from back here, like that big piece on top, it kind of comes into focus and you can really analyze what's happening there. But then if you get super close, you can see that the brush strokes really have this pixelated effect. So when I'm up close painting it, I can't really get a sense overall for how it's working until I take a moment to step back and see the full picture. So my couch is opposite my easel, which is right here, so that I can get a lot of space, walking back and forth. And anyone who watches me paint knows that I go back and forth quite a lot. I get my steps in. trying to make editorial choices from back here. And that's how all of my bigger pieces come together. These are works that I was going to bring to the Cottage Life show in Mississauga that just passed this week. Obviously it was canceled because of the current climate, but I mean, like everybody else, like the financial part is disappointing, but at least in this case, these things aren't going to go bad. They're not going to spoil. I'm just going to shift gears, pivot and flourish. This is what I've been telling people. Just pivot and flourish. So my pivot has been the fact that I'm offering online classes. I've never done this before. I'm not a technical person. I don't love the video aspect of it. So it's rude and crude, just like me. Although, notice I haven't sworn yet today. So the videos are available at a much discounted rate compared to my in-person workshops. So I feel like it's a mutually beneficial way for us to support each other through this. So I hope you check those out. And I'll get back to the tour here. These little guys, these are just boards, okay? You don't have to use fancy supplies to do a nice painting. These are just little boards. They fit into my travel kit that I can throw over my shoulder and hike into places. So this, for example, is a waterfall nearby, and I hike in here and across a little bridge and down this bank and slide on my ass and get, oh, I swore, right there. And just sit there for a couple of hours and try to paint the scene from real life. These ones end up being really spirited. Look at this beautiful brush strokes. And that only happens because I'm feeling really rushed, because the light changes. Bless you, Lisa. The light changes so quickly, I have to nail this down fast. And part of what I love about these little guys is the sense of adventure, of course. I feel really nervous about going to the place and potentially like people looking over my shoulder, but I have to just sort of focus on what I'm trying to do. Rhonda's asking why the color of my primed boards. Orange is a pretty popular underpainting. And I've sort of fallen in love with this color that I picked up at Art Noise. It's our local art store, and they manufacture a lot of their own paints. So it's this fluorescent orange from TriArt, and it is so good. It makes everything, like when I paint and I miss these little places, it really gives this energy and this, this light feeling. So I've shifted from sort of like a burnt orange to a bright orange to this fluorescent now sort of coral color. But I think that's has a lot to do with the season that we're in too. My color palette changes with the seasons, like the fall, and then this one at the top was done in the spring because I'm craving a little bit of extra sunshine. Okay, where else can I take you around the world from the comfort of your home? This is Tuscany. What time is it, guys? Oh, we've got a few minutes left. Okay, this is Tuscany. This is a good adventure story. I was sick this day, so the rest of my painting group went to town. And I stayed behind. I used up all the hot water, started to feel, hot water in the shower for a change. Started to feel a little bit better, so I decided, while they're in town, I'm going to quietly just go in the secret garden and I'm going to paint because I don't want to waste my day. So I found this spot. It was like stone wall with little gates, and I went in there and I found these beautiful big pots, and then the sunshine hitting the buildings and these great shadows. So I thought, let me try this scene and try to represent that today. So I get this far, and I'm pretty excited about how things were coming together. It was difficult painting in the Tuscan sun because I can't see my palette the way I see it in Canada. You can see like the intensity, the value range, that's Canada, and this is kind of muddy and all in the middle. So this is closer to the end of the trip. I'm finally starting to understand what I'm doing wrong, and I'm trying to correct it. I get about this far, and then this little donkey wanders into my field of view. This is the same donkey that has been screaming at everybody in this little village, in this vineyard, for the past week and a half. And he's like mean, and he's kicking stuff, and all of a sudden he's in my personal space. I see him, but he hasn't seen me yet. So I'm standing there, and I realize, okay, donkey, this is another really good adventure, right? Initial thought was fear, and then I checked myself, and I said, nope, I can get something out of this. So what do? I pull my phone out, and I make sure I have a good social media picture. And once I've got a little video and a couple of snaps, by then the donkey has noticed me. Donkey decides he's coming over, and I didn't know what to do. I kind of abandoned my stuff and just sort of backed around a tree to make sure that there was a tree between me and the donkey while I assessed how much he wanted to get to know me. He was curious, so we went around the tree a couple of times, and he was a little too into it, so I ended up running, leaving my stuff, running, but nothing but my phone and one paintbrush. And I had to scale a little rock wall to jump out of this situation to find out that the owner of the vineyard thought everyone had gone to town and didn't know someone was left behind. So we put the donkey in the secret courtyard for a change of environment so the donkey could live his best life. But didn't know that it was going to put me in an awkward position. So, moral of the donkey story. Inner knowledge comes from the risk that we find ourselves in. And in these risky times, I really hope that you guys can find something that centers you, and clear away all the clutter of your everyday life and focus on the things that really bring you joy. And, you know, I think this is a great platform featuring a lot of the colorful people that we have in Kingston. And it's a great way, until I see you again in person, to stay connected. And I really hope that, you know, you do find like a shift of perspective. And when we come out of this, you venture downtown and you do some of those fun touristy Kingston things that we have to offer. I really feel like it's a great quality of life move for us to stay home right now, deal with the clutter, and decide how we can improve our lifestyles when we come out of this. And let me tell you, in no time at all, months, maybe a year, we're going to be telling the story of COVID-19 and how we survived this weird adventure together, with as much enthusiasm as some of my other hairy tales of my travels around the globe. So I hope what you got out of this was not me bragging. I can't wait to get out again. Trust me, my passport's burning a hole in my pocket. It might be a little while. So I'm going to switch the adventuring inwards and see what kind of places I can go in my imagination, I guess, and come out with some really cool content, because this is almost unprecedented how much person-to-person content is coming up. It's super creative, and I am excited about that part. I am scared to go to the grocery store. I haven't seen my mom, love you, mommy. But those are kind of some of the things, you don't see your friends and family when you're on vacation. So I guess let's just try to look at it that way. Thanks to everyone who's on the front lines, that don't have the same luxury of time that we do to be on our own. We appreciate you so, so very much. I am running a contest on my Facebook page where you can nominate frontline workers to receive free prints. I have 10 to give away, and maybe I'll share that again so it's fresh on the page, but I would love for you to nominate people and leave them a few kind words, because kindness can go a super long way right now. So can my rambling mouth. So I'm gonna say goodbye and happy painting, or whatever you choose to do, but we'll see you on the other side, okay guys? Bye.